Hey everyone, welcome to the Summer and Cruising card class replay here. My name is Lauren. I am from Color to Kitty and I'm looking forward to doing this today. I think I'm all set up. I think I have everything that I need. So let us get started. Be sure to also have a beverage. I've got a couple beverages on hand over here to make this a little nicer. Alright, so first things first, my camera is crooked. Every time I do this. Okay, a little straighter. Alright. So first things first, let me clear my desk a little tiny better here. Okay. As a pen keeps flying. Is pull out your class materials. This is a bundle that I have from mine. And I've included a little sheet, more or less, with some information that you may need, which is scissors, a black pen, some sort of coloring tools. I'm using colored pencils, personally. Some sort of adhesives. Suggested adhesives today would be like a double-sided tape runner. I've got one right here. There's glue dots. There's dimensionals. I've got those here as well. And what I forgot to mention is, what also is handy for today is a ruler and a pencil. And we'll go from there. Alright, so let's pull out the materials. We'll start with the slightly more challenging card first, depending on perspective. To be fairly honest, we ran into a bit of a snag during the class, and it is what it is. Something that I need to improve on in giving better instructions. So if you're catching the replay, you're in for a treat, because hopefully I'll get it right this time. Okay, so I just got all the materials pulled out here. So what we'll need for the first card is 4 of these random panels, these squares, and the rectangle card base. And everything else here can be put aside for the next project. Alright, so let's see if I can get this right today. Okay, so we're going to start with the card base because we've got a little work to do here. I've already got this folded in half, so open it up. And then essentially, the other way, fold it in half. That way our square will have 4 components. This has used the bone folder to make that a little nicer. So that way we've got the square of 4 squares. So then next, this is where the pencil and ruler does come in handy for today. If not, you can eyeball it if you want. Take the bottom right square, kind of tilt it as where you need it to be. Grab your ruler. From the center point to the other point down here, make a light line for yourself as a guide, like so. But then what we need to do is, if I remember this correctly, bear with me, we need to cut along that line there. I'm just going to draw with the pencil so you can see what we're doing. Alright, so first things first, just that line only. Cut it. So I'm going to grab my scissors and have at it. Just trying to get perfectly to that center. There we go. So we've got that. And then, from there, come back to this. From the left side of that line, just to make things a little easier, draw another line. I would say like, eyeball 1/2 inch. And on that new line, we cut that triangle piece off. So you'll see in just a moment. So just cut it, nothing fancy, just go for it. And hopefully this works out today. Feel free to keep this just in case you made a little boo-boo, as we did in the class. Alright, so now we've got this piece. Now that line that we made the first round, what we want to do is fold it, so that way, yes, bear with me a moment as I try to kind of sort of work with it. Is, yeah, just fold it best you can. That way, corner to corner, we have a fold. Grab your bone folder. if need be, to kind of smooth it out. And there is a little flap that we have happening that we will need later. So then, just to kind of show the reveal, we've got 4 panels here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put one on 3 of these and then one on this side. So to kind of give you the visual of how this looks when we're finished, this is the card standing up. That way you can determine how you want to put your panels. I'm just thinking of how I want to do this. I want to put that one there. I'm going to put that one there. Then I'm going to put, I'll just start gluing down and come back to it. I might switch it up. I definitely want this one here. So I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Up! Tape runner. This is the regular Stampin' Seal. There also is a Seal Plus, which I do feel works a heck of a lot better, in my opinion. I find it sticks a little nicer. Sometimes I have to prime it to make it work decently. Of course, it's not let me. Alright, so I've got that. So I'm just going to put in the center that panel. And then I'm just trying to think how I want to look at this. Kind of want that. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That one there. So just open it up so that way I know the direction of where I want that to go. Prime that a little better. So this is a non-stamping card with a fancy fold, which I thought would be pretty cool to do today. Okay, so I've got some adhesive on there. Just gonna stick that on. And then, just to see how it's coming together, just see, I'm gonna put, I'll just put that on there, just to kind of give it some more shine. Just prime this a little more. It's a little finicky. Could be the way that I'm doing it too. Might be a little ineffective, but that's okay. And then put that on there. And then on, just making sure I'm with it. So, just for example, so the back side of this will go that, like that. You can put any of the panels wherever you want. I'm just doing this as an overall guide. Alright, so then lastly, put that on. So then what we need to do next is pull this back to here. We need to put adhesive on here, but just to give you the idea of where you put it is, you bring that line up quite nicely. That way this goes along the bottom like so. This is the part that we kind of ran into a snag the other night. I do apologize. So I'm just going to put an adhesive strip all along that, and then bring this in. I'm just going to bring it relatively close to where it folds, but not too super tight. Run my hand along that adhesive and hope it sticks. Just going to cap that for a moment. And ideally, what should happen is this should work pretty good. Should. Just kind of work with it, give it a bit more folds. So that's the card folded. Just grab the bone folder and just kind of work it a little more. And then there is our first card. So so that way just test it out, make sure it works. And there is our neat little card. Alright, another thing you can do is, if everything is not perfectly lined up, as you can see the edges here, I got some extra edges. Just take some scissors, cut them That way looks a little more together. Just look good overall, and there is our card. So that's the first one for today. Just our summer theme, which is pretty neat. Alright, so let's move on to the next project. So let's grab these other pieces, and then I'm going to grab my guide for these so I can follow along with you, because I've already made this a few times. So first things first is the relatively easy part, is this white panel goes on the inside. Easy squeezy with your adhesive. Once I get it to prime. Of course, has to be a day of some difficulties. Just gonna work it a little more and keep at it. Keep putting down some adhesive. Alright. So then we'll put that in the center of the bottom panel. Then we'll have that. So then next is, this is a suggestion. What you can do is for the waves, you can go upward or downward, however which way. I would say put these on with dimensionals, but entirely up to you on how you want to build it. But as a suggestion, I just think it gives it a little more 3D feel. Just going to pull out my going pack of dimensionals. There's one in the center. And something I saw somewhere is if you kind of punch the centers a little bit, supposedly that helps them come off a little easier. So I hear. Just pulling off all the white caps. And just put that on as center as possible, if you can. Just going to cap that again. Okay, so next is something interesting. And what may be helpful is your scrap piece of paper that I included here. Is your vellum. So the compass in the corner. It is somewhat directional. It's really hard to tell if north, east, south, west. It is on there, but it is a little hard to see. You could leave it blank, or you could draw your own map on it. And that's what I've done with mine. So, two things. You can either go brave and draw on right away, or you can already draw it on here, and then bring this on top and trace, depending on how you want to go. So, yeah, it could be anywhere you want to be, or it can be blank. So I'm just going to brave it and go with it. Make sure my black pen is good. Just kind of draw a straight line-ish. Draw another one. I'm just kind of doing my area. That's like Highway 25. That's the 401. May not be exactly where it goes, but yeah, it's still fun. And then I'm just going to draw another line across. Also helps by having a bit of grid paper on underneath. Just kind of free going for it. Just a bunch of lines. It can be swiggly, it can be curvy, depending on how you want it to be. Nothing fancy at all. You can go super detailed or not. Because keep in mind, this will be covered by wherever these get positioned, as a thought here. What other lines do I want to do? I'm just looking at my originals. Just give it a bunch of interest. So there's a bunch of lines. So when you're happy with where you're at, this will go uncentered with what I would suggest is glue dots. And then this would ideally, entirely up to you how you want to build it, would go on top your tags. So however you want to build it, up to you. Now right now we can put the vellum down with not dimensional glue dots. Forgive me, I tend to get the two terms mixed up when I'm talking. So it's going to grab a couple glue dots. Now I got the right term. I get a little pokey stick, flip it over, put one in each corner, including one in the center, just to help it stay down. And peel off all those white caps. And if you're ever in need of more dimensionals or glue dots, Stampin' Up! Does sell them if you ever need more. Alright, so then go centered as best you can on there. And next we're going to do a bit of coloring. Or you can leave it blank, entirely up to you. I personally would color this in. So nothing fancy, just grab some colors you like. I will do this as well. Oh, I got blue on the table. I've got a little blue here, a little small pencil. Give it a quick sharpen. So I think I'll have a little blue balloon. Just gonna grab a pencil extender because it's a small pencil. Alright, there's one. And then while I have them on the table, I have black and gray to do part of the van. Just gonna give it a quick sharpen. That way I can do the tires. Just looking how I've done it the first time. My tip keeps breaking on my pencil. And if you're ever in the market for looking for some watercolor pencils, Stampin' Up! Does have them. I don't have any on the table out right now. However, they are even just great for just coloring. Doesn't always have to be watercolor. Alright, this one start to the tire. Let's get the next one. Alright, and I'm going to grab a gray to do like the hubcaps. And while I've got the gray out, I'm going to do the bumper. Of course, the little tailpipe. Alright, so next is I need some colors. I'm in the mood to do the van in this color here. Kind of goes with the theme. And for anyone who's watching who is not part of the class but enjoying the video, this stamp set was the driving by, or I call it driving by, stamp set from a past celebration, in case you're curious. Yeah, I'm just going to color it in best I can. Just kind of gives the stamp image a lot more life to it by adding some color. If you're curious about these pencils, I can tell you. The black was a Staedtler, so was the gray. The blue was a Pentel. This is a Rose Art, if it makes any interest to you. But yeah, any sort of pencils will do. I'm just going to darken along some areas to kind of give it a little more texture, I guess. And there we go. There's the van portion. So the next, I'm gonna grab a red for one of the balloons, and I need to do one more color for a balloon. I'm gonna go with, I got a color here, going a little more masculine today. I've got this dark, I forget what color this is, but it's like a dark green. Almost like a greeny blue. And there we go. There is our vehicle, which is really cute. Then just glue it on. So what you can do is for both of these, you can put them on with dimensionals or glue dots or whatever adhesives you want to do. I'm also going to just kind of put them wherever I want to put them. Like that. I think I'm going to go with today. I'm going to try to punch the centers again. Hope that technique works. I read it somewhere recently. I forget where I've seen it, but I'm like, that's a neat technique for getting rid of the white caps. Alright, then make sure I am right side up, which is very important. Then lastly is the sentiment. And there we go. There is our finished card, which is really cute. So I'll show another one I've done recently. Same idea. I know I have a few more of those kicking around here because I made a lot of these. This was another one that I've done. This was an early draft that I was working on where I put north, south, east, west. This was an off idea that I had at one point, just mucking around with ideas. And then, yeah, so that is this project for today, which looks pretty cool. As for the cruising concept. And then for the fancy fold here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So ideally, they all should open up like so. If you need any help with how to open them and fix them, let me know. This is the one that we had to, repair because I accidentally had instructed the cut too tight there. But yeah, so there we go. So there is, and this was today's version. Then this was another demo that I've done ahead, working on these concepts. So there we go. There is our 2 projects overall, and just get to be able to see what we're working on. So yeah, well, thank you for tuning in if you're watching the replay, of course. Thank you for participating in the class, and yeah, we'll be back again for a future one once I get something designed out, something cool. And yeah, so thank you. And hope you have a great long weekend, safe and all, and we'll be back again. Bye for now.